Okay, welcome everyone to our Premier League Round 5 360. I'm Steve Loader, one of our golf pros, and we've got Steve Morgan here as our guest captain from Mixed Bag.
Good everyone, thanks Steve.
No worries, we've decided to get a bit of intelligence in here this week, other than, we haven't Ben here sitting around showing his guns and
talking garbage,
talking rubbish and hanging on everyone. So, bit of sensible conversation. You might have known we did a show from Barnbougle a couple of weeks ago now. There was a teams event down there which my team, the red team, played Richards, and Ben's team, the blue team, and there was a lot of talk beforehand about how good they were going to be and who was going to win. And as it turns out, the red team, my team, won that event, and there's been no mention of that. So I just want that out in the public domain that once again I'm sort of the poor man's golfer, and I've covered them off again. So that's why they're probably not here this week, out practicing and working on their game. So
it probably wouldn't hurt them to be on the range, I would have thought. Especially Ben.
Yeah, been full of a lot of cheek lately, the two of them, but haven't really delivered. So just a little bit of insight into where those two characters come from. So moving on to our round 5 matches, we had the Granddads defeated the Cinderella Boys, 144 to 138. Probably a big upset, really, this one.
Yeah, I think Cinderella Boys on top of the ladder from probably much the start. Probably tipped to win that one. It was always going to be close, but it is a bit of an upset, I think.
Yeah, Stan Vogt, 2 weeks in a row, leading them up. Sean Slattery pretty solid with 36 points, and Nick Raftelis, but just, not good enough.
No, some good scores. You look at the Granddads, as you say, Stan with 40, second week in a row. Jim Wagstaff 36, Jack Crawford 35, some good solid scores there.
Good going.
Yeah.
Next match was the Fockers versus Witches and Warlocks, and the Fockers just continue on. Timmy Leet 40 points, Rob Kilgour, Peter Durant 39. They're pretty good numbers.
Yeah, you're not going to. They're getting around that 39, 40 points on a weekly basis, 3 or 4 in your team. You're not going to get beat.
Yeah, once you get up above 150, you're pretty.
You're pretty safe. The average of scores are the 130s,
yeah,
so
right.
You sort of get 140 plus. You think you're going to be in.
Yeah, mind you, the Witches and Warlocks are the whipping boys and girls at the minute.
Yeah, not going well.
No. Next match, Party Boys versus 19th Hole Hackers. Party Boys, nice solid win. Jay Scott led out with 39. The Hackers, good team on paper. Mick Gatto, aka Marty Baldwin, 32, and Ben Docking, 32. They're 2 pretty high standard golfers, but just they're not delivering.
I think they're finding it hard to get the players on the course to give them the option of 5 or 6 people to get that top 4 scores. They're fielding 3 and 4 a week, and it just puts the pressure on those players.
Yeah, absolutely. And our last match, Reluctant Heroes 144 against your group, the Mixed Bag 131. Jade Bennett 40 points, Johnny Tomlinson 37. And for you guys, Peter Goff 34, and yourself. Finally in the scoring. I've
been there a couple of times.
Start, haven't you?
I have. It's I'm thereabouts. I can feel it. It's just not quite clicking. A couple of wipes in the 33. So, but anyway, everybody has the same story out there. But
absolutely,
Goffy's going well.
Yeah, well, he's backing up from his +8 the week before. It's probably a pretty good score.
Yeah, he's been in our top 4 every week, and certainly a complete opposite to last year.
The Turtles had the bye. David Long managed a respectable 36 points, so they hopefully gathering some momentum. The ladder for this week, Fockers, Cinderella Boys and the Heroes and the Party Boys equal on 4 wins and 1 loss, separated by percentage. The Granddads, after their huge upset, on 3 wins, and Witches, unfortunately they are destined to the bottom of the ladder again by the looks, unless something can change drastically in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, you'd think looking at the ladder, the top 4, there's 8% between the top and the 4, so it's pretty tightly contested. And as you say, the Granddads just that 1 game out. That's probably the 5 they're going to shape it. It's just interesting to see what the bottom ones can do in regards to upsets, or how it depends on the draw over the next 4 or 5 weeks as to who's playing who. But certainly, you think it's pretty settled.
Not quite out of it.
No.
Your mob.
Oh, we'd need the cards to fall our way.
Yeah, need a few things to go your way.
We need to be winning every match, and hopefully some of the matchups we might sneak in, but we need to do everything right from here on in.
And moving on to our heroes of the week, or hero of the week, I think Stan Vogt 2 weeks in a row, 40 points.
Yeah.
His new set of...
He's loving those new sticks they mentioned the other week on the show. Obviously suited because 40 points, and he's backed it up with 40 points. It's certainly hero of the week.
Mr. American Golf Supplies, if you're watching, he's on top of the world. Actually, when you win a tournament as a professional, you get a gold putter. So, Stan, it may well be gold putter could be coming your way.
Well, it could be the Pro Shot putter. He should be.
Pro
Shot putter will be coming up soon. So,
villain of the week.
Well, I think if you give Stan Vogt the hero of the week with 40 points last week and 40 points this week, I think it has to be our own Brett Vincent, who lost on a campback last week with +8. And he only had 24 points this week, which is a big fall from grace.
That's almost embarrassing. Really. Now, there's a bit of a running joke between Brett and I. He often can't make it to golf on a Saturday due to work commitments. Rings up, can you pull me off, please? So he came in after his round and was joking that I should have been pulling him off again. So.
Well, with 24, I got here and saw him on the 9th. And he shook his head, and I said, "What's going on?" He said, "You won't be taking my score." But it was consistent. He had 12 points on the front 9 and 12 points on the back 9. So he's got the consistency, just not the ability to back up a good week with another one.
Must admit, when I saw his had +8, I had a quick look at the rest of the scores to think, geez, it must have been easy that day if he could get +8.
Didn't back it up. So
no. Our team player of the week, also someone from your team.
Yeah, well, I nominated Ferret, Peter Hylett. Brett had to go, had to play in the morning, probably had a bit of a sook to his mate Pete. So Pete graciously came out and teed off with him at 7 o'clock to keep him company, maybe to keep him honest, who knows, after last week.
Or maybe the fact that he was up drinking till 12:30 just to make sure he actually made it here.
Could have been, but I think Peter's always been an afternoon golfer. If he can't play in the afternoon, he's normally not available. But I think Peter Ferret, team player, to brave the cold and to help his mate Brett. Didn't help much, but
because most people would have been looking forward to a week without playing with Brett.
Yeah. But I think Pete there.
Good stuff, Ferret. And our sook of the week. Well, this guy's actually been in the news a bit lately, but Cole Johnson tried to make a genuine complaint that. He's disadvantaged by having 4 ladies in his team because generally the ladies' winning scores aren't as high as the men's scores. So that puts him at a disadvantage. Now, that's a pretty underhanded sort of backslap at your teammate, surely.
Well, I don't think the ladies would like it. He's saying that +1 or 2 will win the ladies' comp on a Saturday, whereas you look at last week, a couple of +8s and 6s, so the women don't score as highly as the men. My understanding, Steve, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I think the handicap system's the same for men and women.
It's the same.
So to sort of say that about your fellow teammates is probably not a good team environment.
No, especially when he was, I think, asked to go into that team. So
he knew what he was getting into.
He did have a choice.
So,
and ironically, I don't think I've seen his name up in the leaderboard in the top 4 too many weeks either. So.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how the women are comparing versus their handicap versus Collins in the team. Might be a nice little stat there for next week, possibly. But you can't be sooking about your teammates.
No, it's that's the whole idea. It is a team game, Cole. So you need to man up. Next week is bye for everyone, and a preview of our round 7 matches: the Turtles versus Cinderella Boys, Granddads versus the 19th Hole Hackers, Fockers versus Mixed Bag, Party Boys versus Reluctant Heroes, and the Witches and Warlocks have a much needed bye. I think they probably need a couple of weeks off to gather some momentum. We thought we might finish off with just a couple of questions for yourself, Steve. What's your expectation for the rest of the year?
Well, as much as it's mathematically possible, it's going to be tough, but I'd like to think we can sneak into the 4. I know last year we finished 4th and we played off in the final. So I think if we can just make the final, we've got some golfers there that are probably lacking a bit of form, but if we can all get together and band, my expectation would be to just try and sneak into the 4, and I think we need to win every week to do that.
Your Brownlow tip?
I'm going to probably tip my mate Goffey.
Yeah, okay.
I know Ben's been praising him up a little bit. Last year he was a little bit inconsistent.
He was a bit up and down.
Didn't show a few times, that sort of stuff, but he's been in our top 4 every 5 weeks. Yep. So I think he'd be my Brownlow tip at this stage, probably mid-season.
And who do you think will be outside of your team? Who's the biggest threat for you, if you make it?
Oh, probably Party Boys again. We played them last year, and I think they just pipped us during the round.
Yep.
And they beat us in the final, which was reasonably close, but they won again, and they've beaten us this year. So I think we've played them 3 times now. A good bunch of blokes, really consistent across. They've always got that 2 or 3 blokes stepping up each week, and they seem to, at the moment, they're 3-0 for us. So I'd like to think if we can make it and get the Party Boys, that we can probably get one back.
Before we close, I haven't run this one by the boys, but I thought for the next week's show, Ben and I will probably have one of our dares. Not sure what that dare will be yet, so if anyone's got any suggestions, please come forward. So obviously the loser, whoever picks which side, we'll have to carry that dare out. One that's been suggested is for our Sook of the Week, we head out to Cole Johnson's farm, and one of us has to do some real manual labour and hand milk a cow. That's just one, but if anyone's got anything, please come forward.
With the dare with Ben, I think you need to put a date on it.
Yeah.
I know last year when he made the bet that he was going to shave his head, that it went on for weeks, and he had excuses. And
every excuse.
Yeah, well, it took a lot of excuses, and finally, he had nowhere to go come presentation night. So I think.
Thanks to our sponsor, CUB, Amy, from the technical marketing area. Morgs, thank you for your time.
No
Much
worries.
Appreciated coming out of your busy day to come out here and, as I said, get some sensibility into this show finally. To the other 2 clowns, wherever you are, we'll hopefully see one of you back here next week.
And hopefully working on your game.
Yes, exactly. And for everyone else, have a good week off. See you around the club, and we'll see you in a week's time. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.